Hello, how are you doing? And this is the live podcast, The Coaches Next Door. I'm just seeing that some of you are receiving just now the message from my private group that I'm live. So we always do this small introduction to make sure that people are having the time to enter and to enjoy the things that we bring during this podcast. So, for the ones that don't know yet, yes, we have a private group on WhatsApp that receives, let's say, in first hand all our announcements, or if we have a new training or something. Sometimes I'm, giving some stuff for free. Hello from France, hello from Amsterdam. And so sometimes I also offer there um, we have someone from Portugal, hello. What I was saying, I got a little bit distracted. Um, we also sometimes offer special offers, and sometimes I also give to this particular group some sessions that I feel like okay is necessary and relevant. So if you want, join us. Maybe after I put the link that you can enjoy this community, and you get much more information and more about what is going on in terms of coaching and mentoring as well. Today I'm also by myself, no guest, but guess what? I'm preparing the new list of guests that hello from UK. Hello, so nice. And I'm preparing the next round of guests, and I can tell you it's going to be so cool. It's going to be so great because I'm really focusing on bringing people that are doing really different type of support to other people, and I think you are going to love it and meet also great professionals. So they are already booked. So that means they are coming, and you can count on that for the end of October and then November. So about the topic today, right? So the topic for today is how to create safety for transformation, and for me, this is a very important and relevant topic. And this is one of the things that when I'm doing mentoring with my students or even the coaching certification with my students, I really make sure that they get the urgency of this, okay? Because it's like, I think it's not difficult to understand that we want people to feel safe enough to open up. We want people to feel safe enough that they can really share, what they are feeling, what is going on. And one of the biggest issues with coaching or any type of processes, when I sometimes even hear what is going on with other sessions, is that people stay in a very superficial point, and that makes sense because they don't feel safe enough, right? And even the progress that each session can bring is so reduced because people are not feeling safe. So can be that sometimes you are, 3 sessions to get to the real stuff. I'm going to tell you a story that for me was the most relevant story that I had in this point, and really made me stick on the relevance of this point. I don't know, maybe 20 years already. I was called to coach and to give coaching skills to a group of psychologists that they were, let's say, the ones that were evaluating for the court if children will stay or not with their families. It's a pretty hard work, okay? You hear and you see poof, the sometimes the worst of families and individuals. So they needed, of course, to interview everyone and to get sessions sometimes with the children as well, depending on the age. Sometimes always with the parents and with the family and what was going on, right? And they needed to advise. So the main role was to advise the court what will be the best situation for the children. And I was called because the team was really not feeling well. So we had a lot of burnouts. We had at that time already, with another expression, a lot of depressions, a lot of crying, a lot of stress. Like you can imagine, is already a big role and a big task, right? And very emotional, of course, because you always get the sensation that I'm doing the right thing. So that's an internal question, right? So I went there, and when I asked them, okay, what is really going on and why are you feeling this? One of the first things they told me was, it's frustrating. It's frustrating that we sometimes like get the sense what is going on, but we don't get the truth. Let's say we don't really feel, okay, this is it. And sometimes we take 3 sessions to, or even more sometimes, or even, um, and when we need the extra time and the extra questions and the extra sessions, it's horrible to think that the child is being exposed to that circumstances, sometimes really nasty circumstances, because we don't have ability to reach the truth in a short time. And that for me was like, wow, wow, I cannot even imagine what is to go home and knowing that you were not able to reach the truth still, and knowing that because of that you are putting in risk a child. So for me it was like, you know what, I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that you are pro on establishing safety in a couple of minutes. Okay, so I really at that time really focused myself on, let's say, developing some strategies that could give that away immediately. And I started using on my own sessions and works. And I started also showing to my students how to do that, because yeah, not all of us are working with so dramatic circumstances, but believe me, when we are working with a client that comes to us with a problem, for them that is urgent, right? So even if it's not dramatic and sometimes life threatening situations, I think all our clients deserve, this safe place, and then we are more efficient as well when we are working with the reality and, let's say, the truth. The truth is a big word, I know, but I'm going to use it here just for us to relate with, okay, this is the real problem. Okay, that's what I meant and what I mean when I'm talking about the truth. It's like, what is really the issue here? Okay, just to clarify, because you already probably heard me talking about what is true or not. So one of the biggest things, and you heard me talking about this already, is of course building rapport. But what is doing rapport is basically matching and mirroring our client. And sometimes what I see is using hierarchy on the coaching or therapy. Okay, simple things like, let me give you a very clear example. Your client is coming to your office. Um, I'm very picky, okay? So I'm just going to warn you that I'm very picky. Who sits first? Who is the first person to choose the place they are going to sit? Is you or the client? If it's you, you are already marking yourself as the most relevant person in the session. You should allow the coachee feels immediately in the moment that he enters your room. And of course, the ideal is that you're going to pick him up in the waiting room or at least at the door, is you need to start immediately there to establish that your client is the most important person in the room. And when I say this, some of my students go like, what? I never thought about it. And they're like, yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here showing you this. So your client at the first moment of your session needs to feel I'm the most important person here. I'm the one making choices. I'm the one deciding where and how I want to go. This is the most important thing. And this is also allowing them and allowing you to make rapport with them. Why? Because sometimes happens to me, that in my office, of course, I have also my preferred chair. Okay. But I let my coachee choose. And none of my clients know which chair is mine. But the thing is that it's interesting when they take over my favorite position. It's very interesting because it's almost like a change of dynamic, and that works super nicely. So that is the first point. You need to establish that the person that is taking the maximum decisions on inside of that room is your client. And this starts in the moment that they enter your space. Yeah, because the space is already yours, right? So it has maybe even your smell, your perfume. So it's a lot of things that are already establishing that someone is entering your space. That's why it's important that you give away the space. And space for human beings and neurologically is a very important thing for safety. You're going to see, for instance, and that's something that I don't do. I never work, even if the space that I'm in the office space that I'm in, we have some glass rooms. I never take those one. First, the sensation is that no privacy. Second, you can hear other rooms. So if you can hear them, you feel like they can hear me. So you are going always to low your voice, but also what are you saying, right? Because you have that in the back of your mind. So the neurologically, time and space, they do a lot for safety. So take care of that space. Take care that the client feels already the rapport with the space, that they feel comfortable in the place, that they feel like, okay, I'm in a kind of a bunker that I can say whatever I want and no one is going to see me or hear me. That is very, very important. So be aware of the windows, be aware of the privacy also of the space, because the body of your client, and of course, then will give information to the brain of your client, is going to measure all of that. Is going to measure already the full space. And this is a very important thing because I think sometimes people are not aware on the impact of the places that they choose to do coaching. Be aware of that. Be professional enough to say this is a coaching session and this is the place that I'm going to use. And why rapport becomes so relevant, even in the emotional point of view, okay, is because we all have mirror neuroniums, and these mirror neuroniums, they have the only task, okay, of relating with others, with imitating others, with receiving information from others and establish as ours. So when you are doing rapport, it's very common that people are going to feel that they know you for a long time. they are going to feel like, oh, okay, this person is just like me. So this person is thinking like me. This person is behaving like me. It's very natural. You don't normally go, immediately to trust when, for instance, you see someone behaving in a very different way that you are behaving, or even speaking in a very different way that you are speaking, right? So this works also for our clients. So the main thing is to establish that we are at the same page. And this is going to be done with your words. So your words need to match their words. That's technically called backtracking. And also your nonverbal needs to be, with their nonverbal. I don't know her name, but it's a person that you can see a lot of. She has a program in the United States, and she's a psychotherapist for couples. And I always get amazed because people are talking, and she's like, making all the faces that she can, and even sometimes giving really pure judgmental nonverbal, like someone is saying something, I'm like, yeah, and like, what the hell? What is going on there? I'm sorry, that's not the way to go. If someone is saying something to you, we're like, are you expecting that that person again is going to be honest enough? Are you expecting that that person again is going to say whatever they think after a look like that? You are not their moms, you and I go like fascinated how this is even possible, to be honest. I feel like how this is even possible, how this person can be doing this and have, to be inside of a protocol, because she's a psychotherapist. How this is even possible? How is possible that someone is doing sessions like this? Um, I don't find it okay. I really don't find it okay, because you have a standard, and you should be taking care that you keep yourself on the standard. And if you are not able, liking it, is not the client for you, your main thing is to pass the client to someone that can handle it. We are not obligated to handle with every client that gets to us, okay? But we have the responsibility to be aware that we are not. For me, this is a totally no-go. So when you are doing rapport, you are really matching and mirroring the client. And doesn't mean that you need always to be doing that, but you need to establish that before. And then only after you can maybe be a little bit provocative, and you can even not match anymore to be provocative. But it's not possible to return to rapport if you don't had before rapport. So it's almost like rapport, break rapport, rapport. Okay, cannot be break rapport, rapport, because the person will immediately, if the relationship starts with distrust, it's very difficult for people to feel safe again. So it takes much more effort and much more time. So that's why it's important that we get first to the rapport, and then after that, yes, we can break rapport and be provocative, but we can reestablish rapport. So this is also very interesting because when you do rapport, is also happening something there, right? And what is happening there is that you get emotionally also close to the person that you are talking to. And when you are close, more close to what the person is feeling, and more close to whatever is happening with the other person, of course, you are more able to support, right? So, and neurologically, for the other person, really gives the feeling like, oh, the person gets my emotion, doesn't mean that you feel you felt any time in your life the same. Okay, doesn't mean, it's not necessary for you to support someone. You don't need to go through what they went through, but you need to relate with the emotions that they are having, right? So when you do rapport, you also achieve this relating with the emotion that the other person is feeling. And when people feel seen on their emotions, believe me, they will open up. And I will like to give you this idea. Every time that you have resistance, is you are missing rapport with that person. So if sometimes I hear this, right? People saying, "Oh, but I ask and the person doesn't reply to my questions," or the person is always, questioning why I'm asking this and why are you asking that. So that's resistance. The person is like, resisting to whatever is coming from you. Every time that this is happening, we are talking about a very poor rapport. Okay, if you have rapport, people will answer your questions. If you have rapport, people will do the exercises that you're asking for. Sometimes I don't even say what the exercise. I just stand up and say, "Come, let's do this." And the person like, "Oh, okay." I don't even say what I'm going to do. And this is the level of rapport that we are expecting on a coaching or therapy session. Um, and basically, in any point that you need the person to relax. You need the person to let go of their own protections, right? Even a massage. How many times happened to you that you go to a massage and you don't feel, so every time that you're like, then the person, "Oh, relax," and you're like, "I cannot do that." So that happened to me sometimes, and I'm pretty sure that you also felt the same. So this emotional calibration is very important. What is going on there? What are the emotions that are coming right now? Because that is also allowing you to use that in your coaching session. It's much more efficient than imagining the emotion. And also, this allows you to give more, let's say, relevant feedback loops, So asking, when you are calibrating the emotions, when you are with rapport with a person, you can more easily give loops of feedback so that you don't wait for the end of the session, but you are always giving feedback to the person. So, "Oh, I see that now something was changed. What happened?" So this is a feedback, right? I'm seeing something different right now. And when you are able to give loop feedback and feedback in a loop, that the person says, "Oh, she's seeing me. Oh, she's really seeing me. She's really with me." The person is going to, say, "Okay, it's not necessary anymore to protect, because this person is here to see me, not to fight me, not to change me. This person is here to see me and to support me." And this is a huge transformation already. Because you know what? My experience says to me that most part of the times people don't feel seen. People don't really feel seen. They feel much more judged and much more controlled, and they need to perform that they see themselves being seen by others. So when they feel like this person is not here to, fight me, this person is not here to have an argument with me, she's here to support me, for me to get what I want, they will open up. They will basically say, "Okay, you know what? This is for me. And this person is here for me. Not for our own, objective, but she's really here for me." And this is the level of trust that we want. That whatever you are doing, the person knows that you are doing it because you believe that this will serve them. And this is gold. This is gold. This is what we all should be aiming for. to get to this type of relationship with our clients, that they really feel like I have someone here by my side and she will not let me down. Um, and this is also, you know, a great moment to also show to our clients that it's okay that sometimes we have different perspectives and they will follow us. So, because the intention of us to make people feel safe is that they literally can follow us, right? In our support. Because, for instance, imagine that the person doesn't trust you and you are trying to offer a new perspective on the problem. What normally happens? I know what happens because I hear from my students. They say, oh, the person just said, oh, you didn't get it. No, I did that already. It didn't work. Oh, no, no, it's not exactly like that. How many times you hear this in a session? Um, you should not hear any time, okay? But okay, if you hear one time, I can say, okay. But if you hear two, three, four more, then yeah, safety is not in place. Because the main intention with safety is that people will allow you to give different perspectives. I'm going to say this again. People allow you to give different perspectives. What happens when, for instance, you are talking with a friend and you say, oh, maybe you could be doing this. And they go like, no, I cannot do that. Right? So it doesn't feel safe. I'm refusing you. I'm refusing not you, but your perspective. I'm refusing transformation. I'm refusing change because I don't feel safe enough to make that change. I'm not feeling safe enough with you to follow you. This is what is happening. So that's why creating safety is essential, because you are going in your coaching or your therapy, you are going to offer the possibility of new ideas, of new perspectives about that problem, right? And you are even sometimes bringing new resources. So people need to trust you. Otherwise, nothing will happen because they need to follow you. They need to start seeing the problem, let's say, how you can see the problem. And many options, more options, the better, right? But nothing will happen if they don't trust you. Nothing, literally nothing, you know. And what happens is that even worse is that if you are working, for instance, with a people pleaser, they are going to say in the session, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. And then they go out and nothing happens. And this is not only, believe me, damaging the person that is paying and nothing is changing, all right? But it's also damaging your reputation as a coach, because the person will say, yeah, yeah, I wanted this coaching and nothing really happened. So it's also damaging your reputation. And this, of course, if I want to be a little bit, tough, I would say your reputation is not for me the biggest issue, but for you it is, right? And will be also for me to see that you didn't reach what you wanted as a coach. But the main thing is, of course, that the person is investing, is dedicating time, and is not getting real transformation or change. So that for me is the most important thing. Um, and another thing that I think is relevant for us to get into is the respect from for the time of the other person. I see this happening a lot, um, and of course some tools we know that they work fast. Okay, some tools that we have as coaches, we know that they work fast. Like, For instance, let me give you an example, new code NLP. We know that new code NLP works fast, okay? But that doesn't mean that I need to bring that to the client, okay? So let me give you an example. Imagine that the person that I'm working with is 35 years old. The person comes with an issue, an emotional issue, okay? That the person believes that the issue comes from her relationships in the past. Okay, I go and I have a tool that is an exercise that I know that can reframe this situation very fast because it's an activation of a new synapses. So I know that neurologically is fast. Okay, but imagine how you feel if you have a situation or a problem for 35 years, and I come and I said, "Oh yeah, give me 5 minutes." First, the risk of the person saying, "Are you kidding me? Like this cannot be solved in 5 minutes," because it's a problem for them. Okay, and it's a big one maybe. Another thing is that you will probably make the person feel highly incompetent with their own lives because they go like, "Oh, okay, wait, I'm with this problem for 35 years and I needed 5 minutes to solve this. Now, I feel highly incompetent." And I already heard some clients saying this to some students of mine, that they want to perform. And this is a trap, right? As a coach, it's not your job to perform in that sense. It's not your job to be fast. Your job is to support the person. And the person sometimes needs time. And respecting that time is also very important. And sometimes I feel like people want to rush stuff because they want to say, "Oh, I'm the best one because I can solve this in 5 minutes." And I like, yeah, but what are you doing to your client when we do that? Okay. I'm not saying that you need to stay with your client for years. Okay. That's not also what coaching is made for. But transforming a problem of 35 years, for instance, in a resolution of 5 minutes can be a little bit overwhelming. Let me put it this way. So, one of the things that we want is to respect also the time of the other person. And sometimes even the time that they will need to reply to a question. So, for instance, today I had an intake with a new client, and I asked a question, and he said, "Oh, that is a good question," and stopped. And I go like, okay, he needs time. No one ever asked him this. So, of course, he doesn't have a reply like under his tongue. So let's give him time. And I stopped and I said, "Oh, all the time in the world." And he was thinking for a little bit and like, "I don't know if it's exactly this." And I said, "It's not a right or wrong answer. And we are still starting as an intake. So we have plenty of time to go in deep. But this is your first perception of this question. It's fine." But imagine that, and I see this a lot as well. Like you ask a question and the client says, "Oh," and you continue talking and you continue asking more questions on even like giving suggestions to the question. This is disrespecting the time of your client. This is an example that the client will not feel safe. He will feel, "Oh, I need to have all the answers in a minute. Otherwise, she just jumps to another thing." So it's very important to respect the time of your client in several areas, right? Um, and also the client to feel like, "I don't need to rush anything." Is Coaching is not a place for them to feel that they need to perform. Okay, we all have a lot of places in life that we feel, okay, now I need to perform. I need to show that I'm on the top of the game. Okay, coaching is not that place. Coaching is the opposite. Coaching is the place that I want to feel vulnerable. Coaching is the place that I don't want to know all the answers, because that means that I'm finding something new, right? So being aware that even if your tool, you believe that your tool is fast and can solve things in 5 minutes, I don't know if that is the best way to approach your client. Um, I, I, mm, let's say I will not go there, even if you feel okay, because give time for the person to talk about it. Give time for the person to experience the change. Give time also for the person to ask questions about that change. I think that is fundamental. Yeah. I don't know. Any questions that you like? Because I went fast. Yeah, I'm here, and you see that this is like I'm talking fast. But any questions that come to your mind about this, or anything that you would like me to explore a little bit more about this safety, because it's really important. It's really important that we get, yeah, safety to our clients. Any questions? I'm going to give a little bit of a frame. If you have any questions, please be totally free to put in the chat. We have some people already checking in on the chat, so you are totally free to put your questions or even experiences. Maybe you had already experience as a coachee and as a coach. I had experience as a coachee that I felt like, oh, I'm not opening my mouth because I don't feel safe here. And I'm afraid that this information goes somewhere else, that not this person. I had this situation myself when I was in the corporate world, because I had coaching at that time, and I felt, I'm going to talk, and I'm having the pure sensation that someone is going to hear this session. That is not me or you. So yeah, I didn't open. I just made the game. I did it, and I think in some and different moments we all had maybe that experience, but so that also means that, yeah, maybe we don't want to give it back, right? I don't want to give them back, to give that experience back, because it's really unpleasant to feel that it's no safe, it's not safety here. So if no questions, and I'm not seeing any reactions for now, maybe still in your head, putting this all this in place. This is the topic that I wanted to bring today, and the awareness that a lot on the resistance that your client is showing, sometimes more verbally, sometimes even in a more longer period of time, is all about, uh, they don't feel safe enough, or they don't feel like this is really a place where I can explore other ways and other forms of being. So make sure that you create that for them, and it's your responsibility, not them. They are not. I'm not totally agreeing in the sentence that a person change one day, decide to change. I'm not totally agreeing with this. So I see sometimes coaches putting the responsibility of the results on the coachee, saying, "Oh yeah, but you also didn't want it to change, or you resisted to change." And I'm like, that is not their job, you know. Their job is to resist, because yeah, basically you are want them to change. Change is not a thing that people go like woohoo. So that is your job, and um, okay. Someone saying you are not solving a problem of in 5 minutes. You are guiding her to do it. She's an amazing person. Yes, Yes, exactly that. Exactly that. They have already a lot of potential in them, right? So you are not coming here like, "Ooh, I'm the saver." Even if I see some people doing that, but it's not true. It's not true. Um, you are not solving anything for them. You know, you are just sometimes opening some doors, and they are the ones that need to do it. They are the ones that are going to, they are the door, the main door. They are the ones that have the resources, right? Super, exactly that. Um, so that's, and this goes into the what I was just saying, right? That um, it's not the responsibility of the coachee, to let's say, oh, I'm going to do this. Whatever happens, no. You need to create that safety first. You need to create, as a coach or a therapist or a psychologist, you need to create first the right conditions for people to change. You need to be the one creating the right context for people to open up. You need to be the one creating the right context for people to explore their resources, their internal resources. That is our main job. Okay, so this is what I would like to bring today, and I hope makes sense for you, and I hope you take it also for your practice and continue doing um, that work. Okay, continue doing that work. Make people feel like you and your space and your practice and your process is a safe place for them to shine. That is the main thing, right? So thank you again so much for being with me. Today was only me. Thank you, and see you again next Tuesday, sorry, oh my God, next Tuesday, sorry. And this week, I also want to share with you that on Friday, I'm going to have the premiere of the short documentary, Love It Is. And it's a documentary that was made last year by two, yeah, persons, filmmakers, and they did a documentary about the process that we went through in 2021 with the brain cancer of my husband, and how we also, as a family, drove that process. So it will be on Friday in Amsterdam. If you are in Amsterdam, I will be so glad to see you there. If you are not in Amsterdam, sooner or later you will get this short documentary in all the streams like YouTube, and we'll make sure that you get the link. So thank you so much for being with us. And yeah, we see each other next week. Take care of yourself and your practice and your client.